playing Apex wrong this entire time. Hi, Neves here. The ALGS season just ended and it's drawing in fans from all across the world, including 100 Thieves co-owner Courage JD. Apex Legends seems to be bringing in all the jungle juice. Now the new split is coming up, and picking up Apex is fun, but improving at Apex is not fun. So I'm here to show you how you're playing Apex the wrong way, and make sure you approach Apex the right way. You'll see what I mean by that later. So when the words Respawn Entertainment are uttered, it's normally associated with one thing, and that is movement. Titanfall and Apex were one of the premier games to introduce a faster and fluid movement to the FPS genre, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Now, this is not going to be your washed and reused Apex Legends movement guide, but rather exposing players to the core of video games. That's right. I'm talking about exploiting the game engine. And by that, what I really mean is taking note of every nuance in the game and optimizing your gameplay based on the rules of how the game's programmed. So, we're going to be starting by exposing every Apex player's best friend, the dead slide. In my experience with the game, nothing is more demoralizing, game-breaking, flow-disrupting, life-ruining, heart-wrenching, pain than encountering the dead slide. Seasoned pros and newcomers alike get hit with this at least a few times every zone, and no one seems to have a clear-cut answer to it. Well, good thing I'm depressed enough to devote hours to figuring out why this happens. Simply put, a dead slide occurs when you slide and pop out of a slide before a predetermined distance. So that means if you slide and cancel it early, your next concurring slide will be a dead slide. That's it! It's that simple. Now hold your horses. Don't go stopping the video because I've got a bunch more juicy information for all you homies. You know how a dead slide occurs. So what puts you into a non-sliding sequence? Well, here's a list for starters. Short sliding, burst sliding, B-hopping, short sliding off a ledge, short sliding after a fall, chaining short slides downhill after hitting ground on multiple elevations. I'll explain this later. Remaining on a moving crouch state after a slide, crouch jumping, short stationary jump slides. Basically, anywhere or anytime you slide without covering the distance threshold will put you in a no-no zone. Slide distance threshold. The slide distance threshold is also affected by speed stem legends. So the amount of space you need to cover before entering a non-sliding zone is affected by an Octavio stem, your Beast of the Hunt, or your Bangalore passive. Also, note Lobatelli will remember your character state before entering your queue. So if you initiate a dead slide sequence prior to the bracelet teleportation, your dead slide status carries over and your body state does not reset. You'll be dead sliding as you exit out of your queue. So the good news is there are actually ways to combat this. To my current knowledge, there are only two ways to reset your slide state. One being finishing a heal. Your character animation and position are reset upon entering the heal state. So if you do a lengthy downhill slide, heal, finish the heal in flat ground, this means you could slide again after the heal. Big whoop, you're already doing this. The second way to reset your slide state arguably may be the most game-changing thing you will learn. Wall climbing. That's right. It was right in our face the entire time. For 2 freaking years. Some of you are already doing it or have habitually made it part of your game without even realizing it. You geniuses! You're all probably bursting with ideas at this point, so I went ahead and testing multiple scenarios for you all. If you have any additional findings, do post it in the comment section below. Let's get to it, shall we? Stroking the furry wall. Or wall tapping. If you encountered a dead slide, simply climb a wall and jump at the soonest available moment after the climbing animation starts. The fastest method? Tap strafe into a wall tap. Stroke the furry wall, my friend. Trick number 2. Valkyrie's VTOL Jets, right before hitting the ground, resets your character animation. Now, timing is crucial as you don't want to do it too soon after the jump, as it propels you upwards. And you want to do it late enough that not only does it reset your slide status, but also animation cancels your VTOL Jets. Trick number 3. Wall bouncing. Hey, remember when everyone kept telling you can't slide or keep your momentum after a wall bounce? Yeah, that's right. So, contrary to popular belief, you can most definitely actually chain slide after a wall bounce. The myth was due to wall bouncing while your character is in a no slide state. So, if you slide the full length, wall bounce, and then slide again, your momentum will carry over. That's it. Voila. Trick number 4. Speaking of wall bouncing, note you can also tap strafe with the S key. So, for you absolute psychopaths out there, while you're running, you don't have to keep your eyes forward while tap strafing. This means you can effectively tap strafe backwards and fire back onto an enemy pursuant. A practical use for this, you say? Octane pad pursuits, where anytime you catch some big air gnarly, dude. Just make sure you fully slide before hitting the pad, as to have full mobility after landing that 180 mid-air back strafing Kraber no scope. Hold on. How did he do that? Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified when the next video is. We'll be covering topics such as the proper way of using a Kraber. Yes, that's right. The Kraber in Apex Legends has its own mechanics that you need to be aware of. And also, how to hit those trick shots. This is just a little sneak preview for the next video, so make sure you stay tuned in and follow me. While the video is avoiding dead slides, you can effectively also use this information to your advantage. If you know you have entered a dead sliding state and you need just a little bit more distance to get to safety, it is better to b-hop in your trusty serpentine maneuver than dead slide and risk getting shot or panicking. Do note that, like tap strafing with the S key, you can also, that's right, b-hop backwards. Just, b-hop normally, but in reverse. This could be used for an additional maneuverability while you're scouting behind you so you don't get hit easily looking backwards. Can we call this like moonwalking or something? I can certainly see some of you doing unspeakable things with these few tidbits. Keep in mind all this information because now the dead slide factor is a variable we know how to avoid. And it's mostly not due to being unlucky or server-based, but is a mechanic that needs to be kept track of in Apex Legends. B-hopping in the wrong situation could lead to some very frustrating dead slide repercussions. So friends, like you do when you shoot your shot into those DMs, slide in those matches with purpose. Make sure you have an ample time and distance before deciding to slide, or else you'll end up with misery and Spain without the S. The best practice and safeguard against dead sliding is being near a climbable object at all times, which honestly is a habit everyone should be building anyways, since that's just an FPS firefighting 101 basics anyways, to be fighting around cover. Notes to add: the sliding distance threshold resets every time a slide is initiated, even from different elevations. It carries over to your next slide. So, if you slide down from height, you must commit to a full slide as to not get any dead slides. Counter this by dropping first and then sliding instantly. You will cover more distance this way anyways if you're on flat ground. If you're on a slope, then carry as you would normally. To counter in situations where you're chasing someone or being chased, make sure you slide far enough from the ledge to cover that distance before dropping a new elevation, and continue your full slide length. Make sure you drop without sliding and then slide after you've landed. With all this said, make sure if you're attempting to chain slides that there are climbable surfaces nearby just in case you need to reset your status. Rejoice, you movement kings and queens, you lyrics and tifas, you Janies and Johnnies, you Gerths and Mokies, you Timmies and Asus, you Lulus and Idets. Whatever your playstyle is, I'll be waiting to see all your movement montages after this. That's gonna be it from a homie today. Stay tuned for the next upcoming video. We're going to be covering some interesting game mechanics that are unique to Apex Legends that will absolutely change the way you play and approach Apex Legends. If you like what you see, do consider giving me a thumbs up, subscribe, and a follow on all the socials. If you have something you want me to take a look at or talk about, do drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Or at me on Twitter at Neebs. Make sure you stay healthy and remember, learn, teach, repeat. Neebs out!